Good day, Old Guy in Shed here, wishing you all well. Today I'm going to be going on a little excursion. Well, I say excursion, I'm going to be standing outside of my shed and talking to you about the bikes, which I hope you'll find interesting. It's something I've intended to do, and I said I was going to do it, so I've done it, and it'll be expanded on when I go outside. I'm just having an absolute gutsful of this lockdown again. It's got worse again, which isn't letting me play on my bikes like I want to play. I've just got this vision of when they sort of say, okay, we've all had a vaccine, I'm waiting for mine like everybody else, and I've got this sort of thing, there'll be streets full of people all screaming out, ah! Like kids coming out of school, you know, for school holidays, or rushing off to the ice cream van or something. It's going to be an interesting thing to see. I don't know whether it'll be like that or it'll just be so gentle we won't really notice it. I certainly don't think the politicians want us to go mad. Having said that, I've got a feeling that politicians are mostly mad, but that's another story. But it is getting very tedious now, and I think we're all suffering a bit with it, like I've said on previous occasions. Absolutely crazy. When I think back, when I was a kid, and I'm sure there's loads of people sort of my age out there think the same thing, you know. I mean, we used to play with knives and, well, actually guns, you know, I had air rifles and things and what have you, and little 2.2s. And bows and arrows we used to play with a lot. And fire, used to do a lot of fire. Boy, did we do fire. You know, but I had like proper hunting knife, and then I had like folding knives and all sorts of things that, you know, sort of people have gone daft with now. I mean, admittedly, you know, a lot of the dumb kids didn't actually make it because we had all this stuff, but that was their problem, not mine. And it is a case of, this is when I look around my shed and I look at these bikes. I mean, we're going to be talking about the 250s today. I never did the FS1E thing. I went on to 250s, straight on to big bikes, as soon as I passed my test, when I was 16. So, a different era. And these little 250s were well, the 250s I had and I ran were what we used to call shite. They were dreadful. I mean, the amount of times a pal of mine broke down on his C15, we couldn't calculate. We used to see him going down the road and say, taking your bike for another walk, are you? You know, because that's all you ever seemed to do with the bloody thing. Little Tiger Cubs weren't too bad. I went down the two-stroke route, and I had first bike on the road was a Greaves, and that was with a Villiers 9E 197 engine, and God, it was awful. Well, it wasn't. It got me about. It got me all over the place. And then I went on to bigger and better things with a Panther 250. And a lot of people didn't know this, but there was a lot of badge engineering going on at the time. And I had the, it was a twin cylinder. It was the Villiers 2C. No, sorry. I'm talking about Italian bikes with 2C. It was the 2T, Villiers 2T engine. And it was a good engine. Much later on in life, when I knew a lot more, I'll confess to that, you know, I mean, a whole lot more. This is a single carburettor on a 250 twin, and 2 up, you'll be lucky to pull 50. I mean, really, you know, this thing really didn't have a great lot of power. It really didn't have a great lot of power. And if you sort of stopped at the shops, you know, you run around a bit, go to the shop, park up outside, go and get your packet of fags or whatever it was you were getting in the days when I used to smoke. You come out, bloody thing wouldn't start. You'd have to go for a cup of coffee somewhere and let the bloody thing cool down before the damn thing would start again. As I say, many years later in life, I bought a very nice, and it had been done up because nobody was riding them anymore, a Royal Enfield with a 2T. It was basically the same bike with different badges, but a lovely thing. And I had all these problems with it, and it was the carburettor on it was Villiers' own item, which, if you can believe it, was way worse than the Amel. And that's pretty hard to do, but they managed. It wasn't so much carburetting as it was a controlled leak into the carburetor, into the engine, and it was only barely controlled. It was a dreadful thing, and I got fed up with it. I got fed up with all this tickling and messing and leaking and never working properly. So I took it off, and I got a little Mikuni 28mm on a spigot mount. I had to machine a little plastic sleeve for it to fit. Put it on. This had a choke. You didn't do any tickling. It had a proper choke, a little lever. Kicked it up. Wonderful. Damn thing flew. Absolutely flew. It was brilliant. Took the wife on the back. 60, 70 mile an hour, not a problem. Pulled up hills, really good. Hot start, not a problem. First prod. And it made me realise that for all of, well, not for all, for the sake of a bit of pride, they wouldn't buy a Mikuni carburettor and save their engine, because had they done that or put twin carbs on it, Mikunis again, or something, or Cades, something like that, something really good, Delautos, anything but the garbage that they were running, they could have saved their whole industry. And it was this lack of, not lack of, it was this sense, overbearing sense of pride that they had to do it all themselves, rather than sort of saying, well, these people have done a good job, we'll buy that in. Because I think this carburettor at the time was about, it was brand new, it was about 12 quid. It wasn't a lot of money, and it would have just been absolutely epic on the bike. Anyway, let's go outside. Yes, I think we need to go outside, and you guys need to have a little look around the two bikes I'm going to do, and I would be, like, say, I'd be very interested in your feedback on it. Really would, because I mean, I'm starting to waffle again, aren't I? I'm starting to reminisce about the past, and I think that's because unless this bloody bug goes away, the future does look fucking really bleak, and I can't see it lasting. We can't keep going on like this. We just can't. And I want to get out and ride my bloody motorbikes. Anyway, there you go. That's me. It's my whinge over. My whinge over. Let's go outside now. Go on, let's go. This is the walk around of the Benelli 2C and the Motomarini 2C. Both 250s, both lightweight, both Italian, both lovely little machines, but very different. I still haven't managed to ride the Marini yet, as it's new to me, but you can just see it's a pretty bike. We've already had that discussion. Very different in its thinking, as you can see by the bars. These are original bars. This is what the bike came with from the factory, and here they're adjustable. There's a screw in here, and you can adjust these a bit. I can't see how you'd want to or why, but very much aimed at the youth rider of the day, I think. Little bump seat, the name on emblazoned on the back. The same light unit as the Benelli, as the Ducatis, as everything else of its day. Ducatis used it as well. The headlight unit is the same as the headlight unit I've seen on other motorbikes from Italy. The little V-twin, little four-stroke, it is so sweet as an engine. And this is the era where they all decided that cast wheels was the way to go. And these guys not only decided cast wheels, but to make them really bright. That is factory. That is the factory colour. Going on to the 2C, sorry, they're both 2Cs. The Benelli 2C, this is the opposite thinking. It's a little bit more simplistic in its design. It is a very simple device, but again very Italian. You can see by the styling, even the styling of the cases, these very sharp edged cases, this very sort of angular engine design. Headlight unit, traditionally chrome, stainless mudguards, a single disc. I do prefer the disc on the Benelli. It's a cast item, whereas the Marini, for all its good features, has this horrendous stainless thing, which again was of its era. The Japanese were doing it as well. Like I say, I love the design of this engine. I just love it. I think it's so clean, it's so precise in the way they built it. It has its failings, obviously, like them all. And again, same backlight unit and Benelli written all over the back. Very typical of the era. A very similar setup on the lights. As I say, you can tell they're both Italian, but with slightly different design philosophies. I think the Benelli was aimed more at simplicity, coupled with a lot of fun. The Marini, I think, was just designed for young men to have a blast on, and I think that's really what happened. The young men bought this sort of bike and just had a blast on it, just grinning from ear to ear, and I kind of get it. I'm looking forward to getting this on the road for the first time and bringing you a proper sort of road test on it. I'll be using my helmet cam, and it'll be interesting to see how we get on with it. It sounds wonderful and it looks wonderful, so I've got no doubt I will enjoy it. And it's pretty much that simple. Any comments on it? Love to hear from you. Anybody got any experience with the 250 Marini? Even more so, love to hear from you. Anything I should be looking out for? And if you haven't done it already, give the old like and subscribe button a hit, and we'll talk to you again very soon.